It may surprise you to hear that your newborn doesn't need to be bathed every single day. In fact, bathing them daily can actually cause more harm than good. This is because your baby's skin is still developing in the first few months of their life, and their skin is much thinner, more fragile, and more sensitive than yours. And frequent bathing can result in your baby's skin drying out. So, to avoid worsening skin conditions and drying out your baby's skin, it's recommended you bath your baby 2 to 3 times a week, and this is only after your newborn's umbilical cord stump has fallen off, which may take a week or 2. Now, bathing your little one 2 to 3 times a week may seem a little gross, but it's important to remember that in general, babies don't sweat or get dirty in the same way as we do. And the parts that do get dirty throughout the day generally get wiped multiple times a day. So, when is the best time to bathe your baby? In general, it's best not to bathe your baby when they're hungry or tired, but the actual time you bathe your baby really depends on you and your little one. Some babies find having a bath extremely relaxing, so bathing your baby before bedtime might be ideal. But some babies find having a bath upsetting, and for these babies, having a bath during the day might be the better option. Also, if your little one does get distressed, you may prefer to bathe them when another adult is also present to give you a hand. Once you've determined the best time to bathe your little one, the next question parents often ask is where they should do it. Personally, I prefer to bathe a newborn in a baby bath, which is either being placed on the kitchen bench or the laundry bench. And this is because typically there's a lot more room available on the bench, and you actually don't have to bend down to bathe them, which does happen if you're doing it in the family bath. Now, prior to giving your little one a bath, you want to make sure you have the following items within easy reach. So you need 2 face washes to wash your baby's body, 2 towels, one for your baby to lie on and another to dry them with, 2 clean diapers just in case your little one decides to do a wee or a poop in the middle of changing them, some baby wipes, some barrier cream, 2 changes of clothing, again just in case of accidents, and you might also want some fragrance and dye-free soap and shampoo, which ideally is in a pump bottle because you're only going to have one hand available when you are giving your little one a bath, and being able to pump out that liquid will make the bathing process a lot easier. It's also important to note that using soap and shampoo is optional. You may choose to just wash them with water, and this is fine and actually recommended for the first 1 to 2 months of life. In addition to having everything laid out and within reach, you also want to ensure that the room is warm prior to undressing your little one, as babies have really tiny bodies and they can lose heat quickly and become cold very quickly, and a cold baby is a distressed baby. So to keep the room warm, if you are bathing your little one during those cooler months, there are a few things that you could do. You could simply heat up the room where you're going to bathe them before you begin. You could use a space heater if needed. You could shut the doors and the windows to reduce the drafts, or you could actually just try bathing your baby in a smaller room that's enclosed. Now, once you've warmed up the room, it's time to fill up the bath. The ideal water temperature for a baby is 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius. And once you put that water into the bath, you want to make sure that you mix the water and then check the temperature, as this will ensure that there's no hot spots in the bath. And to check the water, you can use a thermometer, or if you don't have a thermometer, you could actually place your elbow in the water. And the water itself should feel warm, not hot. If it feels hot or your skin actually goes red, the water is simply too hot. Now it's time to bathe your newborn, and the first step is to just undress your newborn, and if you notice that they've done a poop, then you would use those wipes to clean it up before you put them into the bath. Now, to lift your little one into the bath, simply place your non-dominant hand behind their head and neck, and then use your other hand to either hold onto their ankles or their legs, and you would gently guide your baby into the water, feet first. Now, to safely hold your baby while they're in their bath, there are a few options. So my preferred option is to run my non-dominant hand behind their head while holding onto their arm. And this position actually provides support at the head and neck at all times. Alternatively, you could actually use a newborn bathing seat, but it's important to note that your baby still needs to be supervised when they're using these seats. When washing a baby, you actually start at the top of their body and you work your way down. And the very first part of your baby's body that you will wash is actually their eyelids. So you would grab a clean face washer or a wipe and make sure there's no soap on it, and you would gently wipe your baby's eyelids from the inner corner of their eye towards their ear. Then you would grab another clean section of the face washer or a wipe and wash their other eye. The next thing you would wash is actually your baby's face, their chin, so under their chin, and the outer part of their ears, again using that face washer and only water. Don't put any soap on because that's going to cause irritation. You also want to make sure that you don't use any cotton swabs like Q-tips inside your baby's ears, as this can actually damage their eardrum. After you're washing your baby's face and ears, the next thing you'll do is actually wet your baby's head with water, and if you choose to, you can put some mild soap or shampoo on that washcloth and gently rub the washcloth over their head, and then rinse their head with that clean water. After washing your baby's head, it's time to wash their body by gently rubbing that face washer over their arms and hands, their tummy, their legs and toes and back. Again, this can either be with just water or you could choose to use some soap. Now, when you are washing your little one's arms and legs, you want to make sure that you do wash in between those folds, because within these folds can be trapped bacteria, dead skin cells, and other things like spit up or dribbled milk. It is also really important to wash between your little one's fingers and toes, which can be a little bit difficult. So to encourage your little one to open up their hands and spread out their fingers, simply bend their wrist, and what you'll notice is that their fingers automatically spread out. And to encourage your little one to spread out their toes, you stroke the sole of your baby's foot firmly, and you will see that their big toe bends back towards the top of their foot and their other toes fan out, which makes it easier to clean. While we're on the topic of developmental tricks, if you haven't already, make sure you click on the link in the description box below to get the 0 to 12 month old developmental milestones, so you know what to expect in regards to your little one's development, as well as when to be concerned. After washing your little one's body, arms and legs, it's time to clean the diaper area. So to clean the diaper area, you actually start at the front of the body and move back to the buttocks. At this point, you may want to use soap and then swap to a clean face washer to actually rinse the area with water after you've washed it with soap. Or you might just want to use a face washer with plain water. After you finish washing your little one's diaper area, if your little one's enjoying the bath, you can continue to let them play, or you can get them out of the bath. And you do that by placing your dominant hand around your baby's feet, while your non-dominant hand continues to provide support behind their neck and head. And you simply lift them out of the bath and put them onto the towel. Now, to make sure your little one stays warm, you want to quickly wrap them up in that towel and dry them. And when you are drying them, you want to pay particular attention to thoroughly dry in between those folds. Now, once they're dry, you might want to apply moisturizer and then dress them. But the key is to keep them warm. So make sure you only expose the section of the body that you are moisturizing and dressing, as this will ensure your little one doesn't get distressed. Now, bathing a newborn or a baby is not always enjoyable. In fact, some babies absolutely hate it. So if your baby hates having a bath, then make sure you check out this video next to find out 10 tips that you can start doing today to make sure your baby starts enjoying bath times and make bath times a little bit less stressful for you. And if you've liked this video, make sure you hit that like button as well as subscribe so you don't miss the next video.